Hi guys, it's Jamar again. Today I'll be showing you how to play a card game called Phase 10. So in Phase 10, the box looks like this, okay? And you can play with 2 to 6 players. So the minimum you need is 2, the maximum is 6. And what comes inside the card box is numbers 1 through 12, wild cards and skips. This game, when you first start playing it's a little complicated to grasp, but after you play once or twice, you start to get the hang of it. The cards, the numbers 1 through 12, which are like this, change the color. Look at this. The red card right here, there's numbers 1 through 12. They come in red, green, blue, and yellow. So here's the yellow one. This is the 5. Then red like you seen before. Here's a green one. Oops. And then we have a blue one. Okay? And then you have 4 skips. These are the skips. These are good cards you're going to want in the game. Here are the wilds. You get 8 wilds in the game. Okay, so for each set of numbers, 1 through 12, you get 8 cards, 2 of each color, 2 reds, 2 blues, 2 yellows, and 2 greens. All right, so I have all the numbers set up right here, as you can see, starting right here with number 1. Over here is number 12. Right here are the wilds. I'll put them up here. And here are the 4 skips. So the objective of the game is to complete all 10 phases, which are listed on this card. They give you 2 of these in the box to play the game. And there's 10 phases, so that is the object of the game. First person to complete all 10 phases will win the game. And your 10 phases are 2 sets of 3, 1 set of 3, 1 run of 4, a set of 4, a run of 4, a run of 7, 1 run of 8, 1 run of 9, 2 sets of 4, 7 cards of 1 color, 1 set of 5, and a set of 2, 1 set of 5, and 1 set of 3. Those are the 10 phases that you have to complete to win the game. So, for instance, with 2 sets of 3, that will look like this. That would be 3 numbers that are the same. So we'll use 4 and 9. So I have 3 9s and 3 4s in my hand. 3 9s and 3 4s. In order for me to go to the next phase, which is phase 2, I have to have 2 sets of 3. I have to have both of those in my hand before I can spread. And when you spread, that means you have your 10 cards in your hand, which you are dealt. That means you will put your 3 4s, for example, and your 3 9s out. Now, it doesn't have to be the same color. It could be any color, any of the 4 colors that are given. You just want to have 3 cards that are the same. Like here, I have a yellow, a red, and a blue for my 9s. And I have 2 reds and a yellow for my 4s. And that's okay to have when you're making your 2 sets of 4. The next phase is a set of 3, 1 set of 3, 1 of 4. So we already did 1 set of 3. So what we're going to do for the next phase is you're going to take what you had prior. We're going to change the number. We'll use the number 11 to make our 1 set of 3. So a set is this. It's 3 cards of the same number. Doesn't matter the color. So here we have 3 11s, red, blue, and green. And 1 set of 4. So that's any 4 numbers that go in order. It could be 5, 6, 7, 8. It could be 9, 10, 11, 12. So for example, we'll do 2, 3, 4, and 5. So here I have 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is 1 run of 4. Okay, it could be in any color again. The colors do not matter for the first For the first 7 phases, your color order does not matter. But remember, with the second phase, you have to have that 1 run of 4 and your 1 run of 3, which are 3 cards of the same number. Next, we have 1 set of 4, 1 run of 4. So we already know what a set is. That's all numbers the same. Instead of 1 set of 3, we're going to add an extra card. So we'll use the number 12. So for a set of 4, you need 4 cards of the same number, which look like this. And as you can see, I have all 4 colors that come with the game. Red, yellow, green, and blue. So those are our 4 12s. Put those on the side. And we need a run of 4. And a run of 4 was also in the phase before, which was phase 2. We are now in phase 3, by the way. So with phase 3, we're going to do 8, 9, 10, and 11. So this will be an example of our phase 3. We have 8, 9, 10, 11, 3 blues and 1 yellow. Your color does not matter at this point in the game, but there will be a point in the game where your colors do matter. So you have a set of 4 and a run of 4. The 4 12s are my set, and the 8, 9, 10, 11 is my run. So that's the way to kind of remember it when you're playing the game. A set means numbers being the same. A run means the order of numbers. So as you continue the game, there are no more sets after phase 3. Now we go to runs for the next 3 phases. Phase 4 is 1 run of 7, okay? So that's going to be 7 cards in the same order of the number 9. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or you can have it in any order, but your numbers must go in order. So for this one, what we're going to do is we'll make it easier on ourselves, and we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7. So as you can see here in my hand, I have numbers 1 through 7. The color order does not matter. You just have to have the numbers 1 through 7, or you can have any numbers in order but you have to have 7 cards. Okay, so you can start with number 5, you can start with number 3. Okay, it doesn't have to start with 1, and it doesn't have to be 1 through 7. But you want to make sure you have 7 cards that are in the correct number order. Our next phase, which is phase 5, will be 1 run of 8. So we're going to take that 1 run of 7, and you're going to add an extra card to make it 8. That's if you complete the phase, if you completed phase 4. Okay, so 1 run of 8, I'm going to start with number 5 to show you guys a different example. So we're going to go with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, get a different color in here. I got a lot of blues and yellows in my hand. And 12. So here I have 8 cards, starting with number 5, going all the way to number 12, because it has to be 8 cards because it is 1 run of 8. And 1 run means cards that are in the same number order. Okay? So here you can see 5 through 12. Okay? So we're going to put our cards back. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Next, we have another run, and then we get into the part where the colors do matter, and then we go back into our sets to end the game off. We have 1 run of 9, and then we'll have 2 sets of 4. So for phase 6, it's 1 run of 9. So that's 9 cards that are in the same number order. So here we'll start with number 4, and we'll go to number 12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, put a green in here instead of blue, yellow, and red, 11, and 12. So here I'll try to space them out as much as I can, but in my hand I have numbers 4 through 12, which is 9 numbers in the correct number order. Remember, your colors do not matter at this point, but this is a run of 9, and that is phase number 6. We'll put our 9 cards back down. This is not how your cards will be set up for the game. I'll explain why I have it like this at the end, and I'll explain how the game is actually set up, and I'll show you a quick run through by playing it by myself, a quick run through of how the game will actually be done if you want to play. Next, we have phase number 7, which is 2 sets of 4. So we're back to our sets. We had 2 sets of 3 before, and we had 1 set of 4. So with the 1 set of 4, which is a set, means 4 numbers that are the same, that makes a set. We're going to do that twice. So we're going to do 4 sevens, like so. We have 4 sevens right here. Put that on the side. And it could be any number. It could be any one of your numbers. And I'll explain the wilds and the skips, because wilds, it's your wild card. That can replace any number, but I'll explain that towards the end when I'm showing you more examples of how to make sets and runs. And we'll do 9s. So we have 4 9s, and we have our 4 7s. Okay? We have 4 9s and 4 7s right here, and that's 2 sets of 4. And that is phase number 7. Next, phase number 8. This is where your colors do matter. It could be any number, but the color for that phase has to be the same. So if you're doing green for that phase, you can pick any color, when you're dealt your hand, whichever color you have the most in your hand, stick with that color. So if you have 4 reds, you might want to go with red for your hand, and that'll be the color that you'll be looking for and you'll be picking up if someone throws it out. And I'll explain what I mean by throwing out the color. So that would mean you would need 7 cards of one color. It's kind of self-explanatory, but I'll show you. I gotta find 7 red cards. It could be any number. It doesn't have to be the same number, because there's only 2 numbers of each color. So there's 2 red 7s. There's 2 blue 7s. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 7 cards of one color. It's self-explanatory again. It's 7 cards of the same color. I have 7 red cards in my hand, and it doesn't matter the number. I have 2 red 7s. I have a red 2. I have a red 1. I have 2 red 4s and a red 12. That was my 7 cards of one color. We have 2 more phases, and you need to complete all 10 phases to win the game. Phase 9 is 1 set of 5 and 1 set of 2. And if you remember, a set is all cards the same number. It doesn't matter the color again. So we'll do 5 10s. Which look like this. And then we'll do 2 1s, which looks like this. Can you guys see? So 5 10s and 2 1s makes up phase 9. That is one set of 5 and 1 set of 2, which look like this. Okay, and our last phase. If you get to this last phase, this is how you will win the game. But in order to win the game, you must you must have the phase spreaded. And again, spreading means you laid your cards down because you completed the phase. That's how you let the other players know, I completed this phase with this round. I can move on to the next phase. So the last phase, which is phase 10, it's 1 set of 5 and 1 set of 3. So we'll do 5 8s. That's 3, 4, and 5. 5 8s, like this. And we'll do 3 12s. Pick these up in my hand, which look like this. So you have 5 8s and 3 12s. So once you get through all 10 phases, the first person to get through all 10 phases, actually, the game is over. Okay? But there are wilds and skips also. So with the skips, It's self-explanatory again. If you have a skip in your hand, you can throw it out. If you're playing with two people, it skips the other person, of course. But if you're playing with three or six players, you can skip any other person at the table. It doesn't have to be the person that's right after you. It can be any other player, but it has to be 3 or more players in order for you to skip any person. With the wilds take the place of any number that you're missing or the color if you're doing 7 cards of one color. So if you're doing 2 sets of 3 and you only have 2 ones and you need one more one, you can put a wild card there. Okay? So you can either pluck a wild, or it can be dealt to you. Or after the hand is dealt and you turn a card over, which I will show you an example of that. If the card is dealt over and you're next, you can take the wild. That's the only card besides the numbers that you can take a skip. You can't pick up from the cards that are put down already. So now what I'm going to do is show you guys how the scores are taken. Phase 10 is a card game where each card has a number amount. Because at the end of the game, at the end of the phase or that round, if you don't go out and you have cards left in your hand, or you can also complete your phase and still have cards in your hand, because for each phase, someone does have to go out. That means they have no cards left in their hand. They completed their phase and they put all their cards out. So if you have cards left in your hand, for example, let's say I have a wild left in my hand, a skip left in my hand, a 5, and a 12. Each of these cards all have different amounts of how much they're worth. All wilds that are in your hand are worth 25 points each. So if I had 2 wilds, that would be 50 points right there towards my score. And you don't want to have a higher score. The point of this game is to have the lowest score possible. If you can get 0, keep that 0. But you most likely will probably get points in the game. Sometimes somebody's score can be over 300. It can be under 100. It's different depending on how many cards and what cards you're keeping in your hand. Skips are worth 15 points. Skips and wilds are worth the most, but wilds are 25, so they're worth the most. If you are stuck with a wild in your hand, your score that round is going to be very high, your point total. Any double-digit number, which is 10s, 11s, and 12s, those are worth 10 points. So that's the easy way to remember. If it has 2 numbers on it, like this does, it has a 1 and a 2, which is a 2-digit number, that's 10 points. So you only have 3 cards that are worth 10 points. That's the number 10, 11, and 12. Numbers 1 through 9, which are single-digit cards, those are worth 5 points. So any single-digit card is worth 5 points. Okay, so to recap that, wilds, which are these cards, wilds are 25, skips are 15, numbers 1 through number 9 are 5 points, numbers 10, 11, and 12 are all 10 points. Okay? So now I'm going to stack all my cards up and I'm going to deal 2 sets of hands. We'll act like you're playing the other hand. And we're going to quickly, I'm going to just deal myself 2 sets of 3. And I'll deal you 2 sets of 3. But I also throw a wild in one of the other hands so you can see what it looks like with the wild. Okay. Make sure I take a wild out. Okay. Put a wild in there. Okay. So I'll deal myself. So when you're dealing in the game, you deal each player, including yourself, 10 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each person will have 10 cards. And then you would flip over a card. Now this card can be flipped over as any number, or it can be flipped over we'll do it like this now, as a wild. Okay? It can be flipped over as a wild. If it's a skip, you have to put the skip back in and pick another card. Those are the only cards that can't be flipped over is a skip. So I'll be first. It's 2 sets of 3. So I see in my hand, I have my 2 sets of 3. But there's a wild that was flipped over and it's my go. So I'm going to take the wild just in case I don't have a number. But I see I can make my 2 sets of 3. So I'm going to do that. Okay? And there's a thing called hitting. Not hitting with your hand, it's hitting with the cards. And that is like this. So I have 9s here with the wild and 10s here, my 3 10s. I'm going to hit myself with a 10, hit myself with 1 9, and hit myself with another 9 so that I can go out faster and not have any points. You have to make sure you always have 10 cards in your hand. So that would make me have 11 because I plucked. So I'm going to throw a card out. Now, with your hand, for example, this would be the other player's hand. They see that they have the numbers that they need. Okay. Oh, they see they need an 11 to make their 2 sets of 3. So they're going to put down their 3 11s. I'll move it back so you guys can see it. This is the other player's hand. They put down their 3 11s. And they put down their 3 9s. So now in their hand they have 4 10s left and 1 9 left. So they hit their self with a 9, and they can hit me, the other player, with all 4 10s. Now what that means is they went out first. So since I'm left with a card in my hand, which is an 11, we know this is a double-digit card, so it's worth 10 points. So on the board, in the notebook, I would write a 10 down for my score. And as you continue the game, you'll either rack up points, or if you go out, your score is 0. So the person that went out, which is, we'll say it was you have 0 points on the board now. So that is just a simple way to play the game. A strategy that you can use is not to make sure that everyone doesn't know what you're picking up. Try to be sneaky with it. Keep a poker face. If you're doing 7 cards in one color, if you see you need 2 colors, try to pick up just 1 color and stick with one of those colors. And then they will start to notice that, oh, they need reds. If you can see that you can also use blue, pick up a blue. Oh, they need blues. Then the next person the person before you, they're gonna be kind of stuck because they're gonna be like, all right, I can't throw out reds and I can't throw out blues. I can only do greens and yellows. But then you can pluck, and you also have your wilds as placeholders. Don't forget about those wilds. Those wilds are great. They are great placeholders in the game, but they're worth the most amount of points. So if you get stuck with them and you don't spread your phase, that's 25 points for wilds, 15 for skips, 10 points for double-digit cards, which are 10 through 12, and 5 points for single-digit cards, which is 1 through 9. Thank you for learning how to play Phase 10 with me today. I'm Jamar. Hope you come back for more this week. Bye, guys.